Okay, team, I'm going to show you how to make a graph for your time management assignment. The first thing I'm going to show you actually is how to do the average calculation, because a few of you still don't have that on your time log. So you click on the box where you want to put the calculation in. You press equals. That tells Excel that you're going to use some kind of function. You can also type it up here in that function, the f of x bar. So you can type equals and then your calculation up there. So I'm going to type it down here. Equals average is the calculation. You can see it like pops up. And then I'm going to put a parenthesis to indicate that I'm about to select my data. I'm going to select my data, which is this row for the food category for all 5 days, VF through F5. You can also type that in manually with a colon in between. And then another parenthesis, hit enter. And then that is my calculated average for the food category. Now I can kind of do this fun trick where if I click and if I get the crosshairs, see my mouse is now a crosshair on the corner of that cell, I can click and I can drag and drop it down. And what that did is it kind of anticipated that in the next row, I'd want to be taking the average for that category. So it's kind of smart like that. Sometimes it doesn't work out, so you got to double check, but that's just kind of a shortcut. All right, now that I have my averages, I'm going to make a graph. So I think I say on the assignment that you have to make a pie chart, but I would actually argue that the bar chart looks pretty good as well. So it's up to you which one you want to use. We're going to highlight both the categories, so food, work, reading, all those. And then I'm going to hit Control on a normal computer or Command on a Mac. So while I'm pressing that Control button down, I'm going to go over to my averages column, and I'm also going to highlight the totals for it, not including that 24-hour total because I don't want to include that in my graph. Once I have both of those highlighted, I go up to Insert, Chart, and then it's probably going to auto. Yeah, it auto does a bar chart. Now we get to mess with this bar chart. So averages versus categories, that's a crappy title. So I'm going to retitle it Time Log Number 1 Averages. Great. And then categories down here, that's a pretty decent title for the x-axis. And the y-axis is saying averages, but I want to tell it that it's average hours. Or I could put averages with hours, the unit of measurement, in parentheses next to it. And so that looks pretty good. I can really tell that I spend the most time sleeping. That's probably a good thing. And then work, chores, misc, phone, Pokemon. All right, so I can also change settings over here with the chart editor. I can click on the down arrow next to chart style, and I can change the background color, the border, although I don't want to change that too much because right now it's very readable. And I want to make sure that all audiences, including a colorblind audience, would be able to read my chart successfully. If I go over to setup, I can change it from a column chart to a pie chart if that's what I want. And I think that pie chart looks a little bit messy, a little outdated. So I'm going to change it from just a normal pie chart to a fancy donut one. Yeah, I like that a lot better. And I can actually do a bunch of other stuff too. Okay, I'm not going to get obsessive. But anyway, I want to make sure my labels look good. So this says food, 9.2%, pointing to the blue column. Maybe if you think that looks a little bit messy, you can go down to legend, and I can change it from being labeled to having a legend at the top that correlates the color with the category. I would say that this is not as user-friendly because if I was colorblind, I wouldn't be able to tell which category is which. So probably the labeled is, it's probably the best one to go with. But I can change the font size and all of that. I can also change the chart titles from here. So instead of saying averages, which I don't know why it defaulted back to that, I could change this to Time Log Number 1 Averages, and that changes the title up there on my chart. And there's a bunch of other stuff you can do, but that's really the gist of making a chart in Excel or Google Sheets. And I think I also tell you have to make a chart for every single day for all 5 days. But really, if you have just your averages chart, you can kind of get a sense of like, I spend more time on chores than I do on work. And reading has this tiny little slice. So I probably should spend more time on like me time, if I was to be brutally honest with myself. But that miscellaneous category probably includes some of that. So yeah, I'm probably okay. I'm feeling happy. Anyway, so you're going to analyze that data in the hypothesis assignment. You're going to make some observations about what your graph shows you. That might actually be in the next one. Sorry. But you're going to come up with 10 things that you could do to change how you use your time. You're going to pick one of those and make a hypothesis from it for that hypothesis assignment. And then once you do that, you can start on time log number 2, which you will need to log another 5 days so that we can compare our averages for both of the time logs. You got it! I don't know how to stop this thing. Stop sharing. Pause. Gonna have to bear with me here. Pause recording. I want to stop recording. Stop sharing. Hide this thing. What is this?